All right, what is up? Coach Kyle here. And these are the top questions I've been asked by clients, by followers online. Let's kick it off with, at what distance do I need to start packing snacks to refuel? 10K, my max distance so far, doesn't require fuel during the run. Looking to carry easy to carry food for a half marathon in the winter. 60 to 90 minutes is about that range. Whereas if you have a banana before a 90-minute run, and maybe you have something 100 calories 45 minutes in, that should be enough time if it's an easy run, especially. Probably going to be drinking some hydration. You can put some maple syrup in your bottle with your water, and that'll take care of a lot of the simple calorie intake by just sipping on some hydration during the run. What's the best way to avoid cramps during uphill running? This was interesting because this was actually on Strava, and there was a bunch of replies back from people, most of which were electrolytes. Take salt, blah, 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 blah. My comment, slow down. There's two reasons why most people cramp during their long runs. They're running too hard and they're not doing strength work. Simple. Do strength work, slow down. If you're cramping during any sort of distance event, those two things will probably prevent the cramping. Like, I promise you, even with myself, when I've done marathons, if I would have slowed down 10 seconds per mile, 15 seconds per mile, I probably wouldn't have cramped, and I probably would have thus finished the overall run faster and feeling better. Does anyone eat real food? Real, I don't know why they did this, real food to fuel their long runs? If so, what do you eat? Gels, candies, sugary drinks are standard, but I'm trying to reduce my sugar intake. I haven't had anything with added sugar in the first three ingredients in a year. And that has included no gels, no sugar drinks while running. And so things that I've been using are Lara bars. Let's face it, like Tailwind, all those, it's sugar water. Cliff bars are brown rice syrup. And so I'm fueling with Lara bars, apples. I'll have a couple bananas or a bagel in my pack. Simple things like that. A PB&J in a bag. You can do dates, you can do dried apricots, maple syrup in a small little flask. You can put 300 calories of maple syrup in a flask in your palm, and that'll cover you. There are plenty of whole food plant-based fueling options out there. I'd love more elaboration on protein. I'm in menopause, need more protein. I need to also support my weight training. My trainer said 155 grams per day. I know I feel better when I get enough protein. When it comes to protein, I take a protein shake almost every day. It is 30 grams of protein. It's half like a flavored chocolate protein. The other half is just plain pea protein. A lot of beans, tofu, tempeh, chickpea omelets for breakfast. You can make a chickpea omelet or tofu omelet sandwich with two good slices of bread, and the bread itself can be 7 to 8 grams of protein each. And so thinking about these things, edamame is very high in protein. I had some edamame on my salad this afternoon. Don't be afraid to take in 1 or 2 protein shakes daily if you're serious about your protein intake. And I think most people would probably benefit from more protein. I'm not one of those like anti-protein vegans. How does carb loading work? This was from a client of mine. With carb loading, I keep it super simple. The 3 days before your marathon, I say buy some apple juice, some orange juice, and just have a pint glass of apple juice or orange juice, whatever, with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe 1 or 2 other glasses in there. So you're hydrating with fruit juice, and it's not fiber loaded. That, I think, is a good combo, and it's easy to just have a pint glass with breakfast, have some OJ with breakfast, have a glass of cranberry juice. All right, so this guy, he asked, how does he go from not running to running? He has a good fitness base. And I told him, if I was your coach and you weren't running, what I would do is I would have you do 5, maybe 10 times 1 minute jog, 1 minute walk. Keep it easy. when I have somebody come to me for coaching and they haven't been running, my job is to get them from where they're at to consistently covering distance, not getting hurt. Because if you get hurt, I'm out of a job. And so when it comes to this, I start often people off with way less than they would probably do on their own. And it's 10 times 1 minute walk, 1 minute jog, keeping it simple, keeping it safe. You can progress after that, but don't start too fast, too hard, and get hurt. And then you're just going to be out for longer. And we don't have time for that. You were a dairy farmer. How much weight did you lose? Yeah, I grew up on a dairy farm. I grew up milking cows, spraying the shit off of the milk parlor, forcing the cattle into the milk parlor, all that stuff, stealing the milk from the moms. And then this blows my mind. I would go out after cleaning off the parlor and I would feed those cattle, I would feed the calves powdered milk after stealing the milk from their moms. And I used to weigh 230 pounds. I've lost 85 pounds now and I've kept it off over the last couple decades. And most people can't say that. I'm quite proud of it, honestly. What's my opinion on the amount of daily protein consumption? Does it change with activity or age? So I don't keep track too much of protein intake, mostly because I take a protein shake most days. That's 30 grams of protein. I eat plenty of tofu, beans, chickpea flour, chickpea, stuff like that. I'm getting in protein with almost every meal. Now, I do recommend most of my clients, they'd have a protein shake daily, 20 to 30 grams. I think if most of your calories, and you're not losing weight, most of your calories is coming from whole food plant-based sources, and you're having a protein shake daily, you're probably getting enough protein. If you want to double down on the protein shake and really get some extra protein, go for it. What's my favorite non-bean, non-soy plant proteins to fuel with? Non-bean, non-soy. I'm a huge fan of chickpea powder. You can do equal portions chickpea flour and water and mix it up and microwave it, and you have basically like an omelet. Throw that on a sandwich. Awesome. Seitan, I'd like to make homemade seitan. It's wheat protein, gluten basically, poison to some people, but I am a gluten powered runner. And so I'll make homemade seitan. You can freeze it and it freezes and stores really well also. Okay, how do I know I'm getting enough protein on a plant diet? If you're not losing weight, so you're eating energy, calories to sustain your body mass, your energy levels, so you're not losing weight, and most of your food are coming from whole food plant-based sources, you're probably getting enough protein. Now, that being said, you will probably maybe benefit from more protein. It's certainly not going to hurt. I recommend taking a protein shake daily. I do myself a 30-gram pea protein shake, mostly pea protein in there. If you're doing extraordinary amounts of strength training or running, more protein is probably better. I'm not an anti-protein vegan. There are vegans out there who think protein is like a scam, and I think they're wrong. And more protein is probably better, but you probably don't have to track it as well. This is a good one. What are the ideal easy pace for an easy run? What should I aim for a tempo run? So I'm actually working on a training on this, and tempo running, and I try to break it down. Like if we're going to make it like what would it look like if it were easy? Tempo running, there are basically 3 paces. And we're thinking like if you're going out and running on mostly flat terrain, there are basically 3 paces you should run at. 10K pace for workouts, marathon pace for tempo runs, and then marathon pace plus like 2 or 3 minutes per mile for easy running. My marathon pace is roughly a 7-minute mile. My 10K pace is roughly a 6:30, 6:20 maybe. I do my 1K repeats, 800 to 1 mile repeats roughly at that 10K pace. I do 1 to 6 mile tempo runs roughly at marathon pace. All of my other running is done at marathon pace plus 2 minutes, so like a 9-minute pace, plus or minus 30 seconds. 3 paces, other than strides, 3 paces is pretty much all you need to train successfully. So motivation to run, group runs, have a purpose, sign up for a race is a common one. I have seen with myself, investing in a running coach myself, investing in guidance, accountability with my clients. They tell me it's a weight off their shoulders. Having a team of 2 running coaches behind them with expectations of them, laying out a plan that's appropriate for their schedule, their availability, their abilities. And, I had a client tell me once she didn't feel like running. She got all dressed for her run. She went out and stood on her front stoop. She couldn't think of a good excuse to give to Coach Kyle to skip her run. So she went and did it, and she was glad she did. That's a good way to get motivated. It becomes easy to do your workouts when there is somebody with expectations of you, and you're making a financial investment in that relationship as well. Advice on reducing calf stiffness after runs. So calf stiffness after runs can be a cause from a few different things. Running too hard can be a cause of calf stiffness. The faster you run, generally you land further forward on your toes, which loads your calves more. So slowing down will load your calves less. Also, related to that, if you're landing on your toes or on the ball of your foot, and I've even seen people not even let their heels touch the ground, you're basically doing hops for 6 miles. That's going to make your calves sore. That's going to tighten your calves. Tightness is an indicator of overuse or overstretching. In relation to the stretching, zero drop shoes stretch your calves more than shoes with a heel to toe drop. And so it could be that you might just need to give your calves a break, whether it's from loading, from the running, or from stretching.